Well, then you have to go into the whole history of the Venetian Empire. Some of the reasons occur precisely in the 15th century, when Venice begins to decline. Three really significant ones are the rising power of Islam, which began to hem in the Venetians on the east, the rising power of Spain, which took over Italy and hemmed them in on the west, the discovery of the sea routes round Africa, which meant that the hold of Venice on the eastern trades was destroyed, and that terrible temptation of all empires to begin to expand onto the land. So they started to try and conquer the Italian mainland, and this raised the jealousy of other people, cost them a huge amount, and in the end Venice was dismembered or destroyed by an alliance of its foes on the mainland. So it had reached a kind of high level and then an equilibrium, as all civilizations did. But the other reason why it never developed industrialism really was that the only thing they produced in large quantities were textiles and these ships and glass. And later on they had no kind of hinterland in which they could produce other goods, whereas a place like England is quite a large agrarian society, so it could expand its industrial production out of a place which here was only perhaps 100,000 people, whereas in England or other places it was millions.
But given that they had such a large and successful navy, they must have been very well placed to colonise the world, so why didn't they?
Well, like the British Empire, they didn't want to colonise the world. This was one of the accusations made against them. The only things the Venetians appeared to be interested in was money. They weren't even very interested in Christianity. When they went abroad, they didn't try and conquer countries which they reached. They built a fort, they protected their trade, and then they went on. And in a way, this symbolizes what they were about. They were about commercialism. They were about transporting goods from the east into the west, and from the west to the east. So they were a high-level commercial society, and they got their money from moving goods east and west. There was no point in going and conquering India or anywhere else. What was the point of it? You just wanted their goods, so all you needed was a fort. And so that's another reason why, like Holland, which is a very similar example slightly later, they reached a high-level commercial civilization, but not an industrial civilization.